precious few places are left on the earth where the landscape is untamed, the water flows freely, and wildlife thrive in great numbers. The Pantanal is one of these. It is immense, wild, and on the verge of change. The Pantanal is the largest wetland on the planet. Imagine a swamp the size of England. Located in central South America, the Pantanal lies mostly within Brazil, with smaller areas in Bolivia and Paraguay. This complex tropical wetland is a tectonic depression that formed as the ocean receded and the Andes uplifted, taking its present shape some 10,000 years ago. The first European explorers even thought this vast body of water was an inland sea, but indigenous tribes knew it to be seasonally flooded. Several large river systems meander through the Pantanal, and of these, the Paraguay River is the most important. The Pantanal is a large basin that slopes gently southward. Its seasonal flooding has given rise to one of the most amazing and productive aquatic ecosystems on Earth. What is exceptional about the Pantanal is the sheer numbers of its wildlife. Its inhabitants include many species that are rare or endangered. The moment one arrives in the Pantanal, the sights and particularly the sounds of a vibrant, healthy ecosystem overpower the senses. This abundance of life, particularly the abundance of predators, is the result of the great productivity of aquatic ecosystems. Vegetation in the Pantanal is a complex mosaic of marsh, savanna, and dry forest that includes species from Amazonia, the Atlantic rainforest, and even the Chaco. Aquatic plants are diverse and highly productive. Seasonal flooding in a subtropical climate provides a nutrient-rich environment, which fuels a variety of food webs. Snails multiply to great numbers, and both the eggs and adults are eaten by a variety of predators. This snail kite uses its curved beak to extract a meal of escargot. Exoskeleton doesn't always provide enough protection. Dragonflies are formidable predators, but sometimes what goes around comes around. With a plentiful food source, frogs and toads multiply quickly. Most individuals die young, but plenty survive to fill the nights with their chorus. About 325 species of fish swim the watercourses of the Pantanal. With such profuse plant growth, herbivores come in all sizes, including the world's largest rodent, the capybara. This semi-aquatic mammal has webbed hind feet which help them escape attacks from large predators such as the jaguar, or one of the more famous swamp inhabitants, the anaconda. In the past, other regions of the Americas also had great quantities of wildlife, most of which did not survive the onslaught of European colonization. How did the Pantanal's great natural abundance survive? Historically, the Pantanal's isolation and the fact that swamps aren't the most desirable places resulted in low human population. Surprisingly, its wildlife legacy is the result of how its people adapted cattle ranching to the Pantanal. This is unusual, since much of the rainforest in the neotropics has been destroyed to make way for cattle. Immense areas of Central and South America that were once the habitat of thousands of plant and animal species were reduced to merely cows, grass, and a few native species. The history of cattle ranching in the Pantanal is decidedly different. The number of cattle that a given ranch could maintain was restricted by the amount of available high ground where the herd could find refuge from water and forage during seasonal flooding. Ambitious cattlemen who overstocked their ranches saw their profits drown. Seasonal flooding ensured a balance between the native species of the Pantanal and the introduced cattle. The Luis Vicente family has been ranching for generations in the northern Pantanal and knows all too well the effects of flooding.
Isso é agora em 95, que foi considerada a maior enchente do século, né? Que a água encostou aqui na beira do passeio.
Eu achei que foi um verdadeiro dilúvio em 95.
Nós saímos de barco aqui na fazenda, qualquer parte do campo. A água encostou aqui, só vinha aqui de helicóptero. Aqui no município de Poconé, pelos levantamentos, perderam mais de 200 mil cabeças de gado, incluindo as nossas aqui.
From centuries of confronting this unusual environment, a hardy breed of cow was developed, the Tucura. Despite suffering hardships and losses, ranchers continue a lifestyle that has changed little through the generations. With stores and luxuries far away, life is simple, and food often comes right from the backyard.
com a pecuária, né? Não tinha outro ramo de atividade, era só pecuária. Meu pai criava gado, meu avô criava gado e nós continuamos também com a mesma tradição.
Despite the winds of change, the history and culture of the Pantanal are strongly linked to cattle, horses, and the ranching life. Celebrations in nearby towns like Poconé demonstrate the love of tradition and the cultural heritage that are tied to the land.
Mas eu acho que nós temos que conviver, como foi mesmo tempos antigos, como é para ser o Pantanal sempre conservado nesses tipos de coisa. Tudo bem, eu concordo que nesses tipos de coisa que tem a tomada de água pecuária, isso pode ser lá para cima, né? De Poconé para lá que é filme, mas aqui acho que no Pantanal eu acho que não é adequado sobre esse tipo de coisa, porque o Pantanal tem uma música suficiente para comportar, fazer o estilo, né, do Pantanal.
In this part of the world, lassos are still made from rawhide, and cigarettes don't come in a package. Transportation within the Pantanal has traditionally been by horse, ox team, and boat, but one road, the Transpantanera, provides vehicle access through the northern half. With 115 bridges, it does help export the cattle, but the trip can be a little sketchy. Pantanal's incredible abundance and diversity of fish has not only led to a rich array of wild predators, but has also attracted great numbers of those who fish with technology. Fish are certainly the primary harvestable resource of this wetland, and this activity is the main reason people visit the Pantanal. Fishing provides protein for the poor families of the region, sport for outsiders, and business to many. Many small communities depend on this resource.
Mês de fevereiro, dia 8, eu fiz 74 anos. Vive de pesca. Assim, a hora que é o tempo da pescaria, pesca bem, né? E depois, a hora que vai, assim, terminando, que fracassei os peixes, aí vai trabalhar, né?
Some in this village work in tourist lodges, while others continue with their traditional activities of planting crops and, of course, fishing. Bow fishing was an old technique used as the floods receded. Many fish are edible and delicious, but the famous piranha is used to make a soup that many claim is nature's Viagra. Fortunately, it tastes great too. Fishing is important in places like Cáceres on the Paraguay River, which hosts a major international sport fishing tournament every year. Mr. Melo depends on sports fishing, and he worries about the ecological health of the rivers and fish stocks.
Eu não sei explicar o que tem que ser feito, mas vem diminuindo, não só aqui no Rio Paraguai, como em outros lugares. Eu acho que faz parte do ecossistema. Quadra que vem das queimas, e isso tem prejudicado, sim. Não só as queimas, como derrubarem a beira dos rios, as margens, isso tem prejudicado e muito. Já vi adequada, já vi peixe morrendo, em quantidades, milhares. Eu acho que é de muita importância para a região, para a economia do nosso país.
Oh, we could let it go. Or not. Commercial fishermen harvest 170 tons of fish from the Pantanal each year. Most experts agree that the illegal catch is even greater than this, and that the long-term sustainability of the fishery is seriously in question.
A princípio, nós sobrevivíamos bem melhor, porque apesar que o consumo do pescado era menos, mas o pescado tinha com fartura, tinha muito peixe. Hoje nós temos que deslocar distante, muito distante, para nós trazer uma quantia de peixe, apesar que está diminuindo a quantidade do pescado. É a vida mais sofrida, é do pescador profissional. Nós toma chuva, nós toma sol, passa fome, jacaré vem atacar nós, o sucuri vem atacar nós, tá entendendo? Não tem condições, o pescador está ficando deprimido nessa parte aí. Nós profissionais estamos sentindo na pele a dor disso aí. Nós temos que ser francos, uma oportunidade dessa que vem para nós dispor, lá fora tem que ter o conhecimento que nós aqui também somos pequeninhos e o pequeno é que sustenta o grande lá fora.
State Fish and Game officials try to regulate the catch by inspecting vehicles as they come out of the Pantanal.
A grande maioria são pescadores amadores e cujos quais trazem peixe abaixo da medida estipulada em lei, né? O governo hoje ele devia restringir mais a questão das cotas para inviabilizar o pessoal buscar o peixe lá embaixo.
While experts agree that regulation is necessary, everyone has their own opinion about fish stocks.
O peixe para nós diminuiu muito pouco, mas tem bastante ainda, né?
Most people accept the rights of the poor to fish, but criticism is often made of commercial overfishing.
Nos rios, muita pesca predatória. Isso aí destruiu muito, né? E vem aumentando isso aí, nunca acaba, né?
Os pescadores profissionais que vivem da pesca, esses sim, no meu ponto de vista, depredam mais do que os turistas.
Tem vários problemas sobre a diminuição do pescado, do peixe, né? Uma razão do jacaré. O jacaré consome muito peixe. Ele come pintado, ele come piranha, ele come tudo. Outra coisa também que consome o peixe, o tuiuiu. Um pássaro grande hoje, que se chama jaburu. Ela consome 4 quilos de pescados no dia, cada.
A legislação nossa é boa, o que falta é incrementar um pouco o grupo de fiscalização, que é bastante reduzido, né?
It is certain that if fish stocks do decline, the source of fish protein will shift to less tasty exotic varieties raised in tanks. Back on the ranches, both within the Pantanal and surrounding regions, ranchers are facing some new challenges. Some of the old ways, such as week-long cattle drives across open country, are becoming a thing of the past. As beef prices drop due to increased production, land taxes increase, and maintenance costs rise, ranchers are searching for more options. Some ranchers are clearing, diking, and draining the land. They are introducing exotic species of grasses and importing higher-yielding cattle. Unlike the local Takura cattle that are resilient and can even eat vegetation that is submerged, the new races are less adapted and need more care. This is a process of intensification that threatens the balance between nature and the traditional Pantanal cattle ranching. Diking and damming severely alter water flow, which is so vital to the hydrological cycle on which so many species of animals and plants depend. The building of the Transpantanera Road in the early 1970s caused great environmental damage and losses to ranchers because it changed the water flow.
Porque a água corre leste-oeste e vocês vão colocar a Transpantaneira norte-sul, vocês vão fazer uma barreira numa planície, que a declividade é mínima. Fez um dique de 75 mil hectares aqui ao nosso lado. 75 mil hectares é um país da Europa. Para a água não entrar, o que aconteceu? Matou todos os vizinhos, inclusive eu. Eu perdi 1.100 cabeças em 74, na primeira enchente.
Produção tradicional no Pantanal e essa produção tecnologizada fora do Pantanal criou um conflito, de forma que houve uma crise na pecuária pantaneira, em termos de preço, em termos de produção, aliado ainda às grandes enchentes, que morreu muito gado, e necessitou-se de uma alternativa econômica para a população pantaneira. o turismo apareceu como uma alternativa.
People all over the world are slowly becoming aware of the Pantanal's phenomenal biodiversity, and as a result, Pantaneiros are seeing nature tourism as a viable economic alternative.
E acreditamos que o futuro do Pantanal vai estar no turismo.
Income from tourism can provide enough incentive for landowners to protect biodiversity.
E com incentivos a gente resolveu diversificar, foi ideia do meu pai, de montar a pousada dentro da fazenda. Parte de turismo, nós começamos atendemos todos os ramos, todos os segmentos, ecoturismo, e hoje estamos mais voltados para a área de observação de pássaros.
Not all Pantaneiros can take advantage of tourism because startup costs are high and lack of access can be a problem. Yet many see a positive side to this change.
Eu acho que para mim, eu estou feliz. Estou convivendo com muitas pessoas de fora, aprendendo muitas coisas com as pessoas de fora. E isso aí para mim foi uma grande a felicidade de a gente trabalhar com esse tipo de turista. Eu gosto.
Tourism provides many employment opportunities. Lodges need cooks, maintenance staff, boat drivers, and naturalist guides.
Eu vim ao Pantanal porque aqui é um lugar maravilhoso. No Brasil inteiro a gente conhece como sendo um lugar de muita diversidade, muitos pássaros, muitos animais.
Estando aqui, você sente que está num lugar que é legítimo, que é original, que não é uma coisa forçada para receber turistas de outros continentes.
As is often the case, the first wave of nature tourists are avid birdwatchers.
As araras azuis são uma espécie muito carismática, né, e que tem a gente já chegou a contar 35 araras dormindo só no entorno da propriedade. That's the American wood stork. It's an endangered species in Everglades.
One of the most impressive swamp experiences is a boat trip down a river at night.
É a maior espécie de besouro do mundo.
Snakes always get people to pay more attention to their surroundings.
So anyway, I think that a few people staying a few days in a ranch represent in money the equivalent to a few heads of cattle.
The lack of roads and the abundance of rivers make travel by boat not only more comfortable, but provide an excellent opportunity to observe the magnificent wildlife. With education and some regulation, tourism can benefit local communities, providing both jobs and revenue. This Poconé resident collects vines from the wetlands to construct furniture for tourist lodges. This is a truly sustainable business. Nature tourism in the Pantanal is growing. To encourage sustainability, there must be official standards to ensure minimal impact on this fragile ecosystem. When the sun goes down over the Pantanal, a completely different world comes alive. Tourism can have negative impacts, but if implemented with cultural and ecological sensitivity, traditional values can be preserved and pollution and overdevelopment prevented.
Aqui em Pouso Alegre é um lugar onde tem essa preocupação com a conservação ambiental, os cuidados com os animais, a preservação. Então é um lugar muito bonito para a gente visitar e conhecer.
The Pouso Alegre Ranch is leading by example by actively studying and protecting wildlife.
Então nós estamos plantando hoje, pensando logicamente não que nós vamos ver as araras usando os ocos das árvores que nós estamos plantando, mas que outras pessoas poderão ver araras usando os ninhos nas árvores que estamos plantando. As araras se sentem seguras o suficiente para reproduzirem próximo às casas, né? Este ninho está a 50 metros de uma residência e a 10 metros de um curral, onde todo dia tem atividades e movimentos, e isso nunca as fez mudar de lugar.
The planned clearing of a few sections of the farm maintains open habitat for certain sought-after species. Nature tourism shows promise of providing a sustainable income to pantaneiros, and guaranteed wildlife will continue to attract people from all over the world.
E teve um turista português que disse que Deus mora aqui, que se ele não mora, ele tira férias aqui. Porque o lugar tem tanta paz, tanta tranquilidade, que só um lugar desse pode morar Deus, né?
Caiman farming for meat and leather is yet another economic option for the local ranchers.
Não se faz aqui, é só diâmetro. 3 anos de idade, sim senhor. Está com 3 anos de idade. É adquirida através do matador, aqui de cáceres e o frigorífico.
Desde do couro até a carne, dele se aproveita tudo. Aí depende da criatividade da pessoa que for trabalhar com o couro. Um produto hoje, uma bota dessa, inteira de couro de jacaré, deve estar custando em torno, lá fora, de $3.000.
There are many real threats to the Pantanal's wildlife and ecosystems. While a 1967 hunting law gave many species protection, caiman were still slaughtered. During the 80s, 1 million caimans were harvested from the Pantanal each year. Fortunately, caiman hunting has finally been controlled, and today, the population has risen to 3.5 million, which is enough to slow down traffic. Jaguars have been hunted to the brink of extinction throughout their range. Although some ranchers still persecute them as threats to their cattle, the tolerance of jaguars is increasing with education. Now, the Pantanal perhaps holds the largest jaguar population in the world. Overfishing is always a threat, and fish stocks are critical for the Pantanal's future. For example, it has been shown that many plant species depend on fish for their seeds to be dispersed through the wetland. This pacu has teeth adapted for fruit eating. Quotas and fishing regulations are hard to enforce. In some markets, fish are sold that are too small and have not yet reproduced. Because fishermen mostly focus on the 10 most profitable species, local extinctions can occur. Although there are several private and public conservation groups that protect areas, 98% of the Pantanal is in private hands, so it is up to the Pantaneros themselves to preserve and protect this magnificent wetland. Since water flows irrespective of private property, the stakeholders need to develop an overall management plan.
A primeira grande agressão é do que está fora do Pantanal. O Pantanal em si, a sua interioridade, não traz nenhuma dificuldade para ele. O que prejudica o Pantanal é tudo que está em volta. Porque o Pantanal é uma bacia onde recebe tudo que vem do exterior. E a primeira grande coisa que tem no exterior é a grande produção agrícola não ordenada, não equilibrada, não sustentada.
The recent boom of Brazilian agriculture has put countless tracts into production. The plowing of fields and the application of chemical fertilizers and pesticides will eventually harm the Pantanal as sediments and poisons get into the waterways. Soybean production is big business to the north of the Pantanal. Roads have been built to transport soybeans to the docks of the region's rivers. Roads do bring progress, but they open up untouched areas to development and provide access for illegal resource extraction. Even though much of this immense agricultural expansion is far from the placid waters of the wetland, soil erosion is a concern to the Pantaneros. Logging destroys habitat, increases the risk of flooding and soil erosion, and threatens biological diversity. While few people live deep inside the Pantanal, the 1 million inhabitants of Cuiabá, on its northern edge, exert an ever-increasing pressure on the wetland to absorb their pollutants. The construction of new dams throughout the region changes water flow, and mines pollute with heavy metals. The misuse of pesticides and the improper dumping of chemical waste are potential problems. Burning is a traditional practice used to clear vegetation, but fires can escape control and destroy large areas of habitat. Despite being outlawed, Brazil still has a burning season. There are strong commercial interests to change the Paraguay River into a major trade route. Soybeans are packed onto barges and shipped downstream towards the seaports. As they come around corners, the large barges crash into riverbanks, causing further erosion.
Eu acho que a hidrovia não afetaria se as embarcações tivessem um limite de carga. Do jeito que está aí, sem nenhuma fiscalização, saindo comboios com excesso de cargas e muitos milhares de quilos, de toneladas, eu acho que aí sim, aí tem uma perda muito grande do patrimônio.
The Hydrovia project was proposed to straighten and dredge the river to aid navigation. Although still only a plan, there are concerns about this potential mega development. Experts think this channelization may actually act as a drain, lowering the Paraguay River by just 25 centimeters would reduce the flooded area by 22%.
Isso provoca desbarrancamento, provoca destruição da margem do rio, que acaba destruindo este equilíbrio essencial, dinâmico, que é esta conversa, este diálogo entre o rio e a sua margem.
New educational initiatives in the Pantanal are aiming to raise awareness and reduce environmental damage that comes with development.
porque falta esta coisa essencial de incluir o terceiro na nossa relação. E esse terceiro pode ser o outro, deve ser o outro, mas especialmente as outras formas de vida, entre as quais a humana.
It's very important to keep this beautiful place for the next generation, for my grandsons and their grandsons.
There are signs of increasing awareness of the fragile nature of this unique ecosystem.
Muito pouco. Parece que aumentou, multiplicado.
As Dona Escolástica points out, people are multiplying and our needs put an always increasing demand on natural resources. Many of these resources come from far-off places, and we are unaware of the consequences of their extraction. Global climate change is predicted to have a major effect on the world's wetlands, no matter how isolated and pristine they may be. The delicate balance of the wet and dry season could be disrupted. A change in the rain patterns can cause devastating floods, droughts, and wildfires. In slower-moving water systems, such as the Pantanal, higher temperatures can increase algae growth. This reduces dissolved oxygen in the water and affects water quality. Most wetlands around the world have suffered enormously from human impact. The current situation in the Everglades in the United States is a tragic reminder of how people can devastate an aquatic ecosystem. Over half of the Everglades has been lost to agriculture and development. The water cycle has been so damaged that populations of wading birds have declined by 70% since the 1930s. Hopefully, the wisdom and vision of the Pantaneros will prevent the same fate from happening in the Pantanal.
O Pantanal é uma área que serve de modelo do que seria uma natureza na sua fase de maior exuberância. O Pantanal ainda é uma adolescente, o Pantanal ainda está em formação. Então é uma área onde toda e qualquer pessoa de qualquer área do planeta que quiser conhecer como que uma área física natural se desenvolve, encontra no Pantanal este momento, esta oportunidade de conhecer de que forma se gera, se modifica, se acomoda, se evolui uma área de natureza pura. O Pantanal merece e precisa deste olhar respeitoso de toda a humanidade planetária, até porque ele tem uma exuberância que é difícil você encontrar em outros lugares.
Change is coming, but with education and careful management, Pantaneros can preserve this extraordinary ecosystem while creating economic opportunities for future generations. Now is the time for all those who are invested to unite their vision. The Pantanal has come to a crossroads, and the future depends on the decisions made today.